Be sure to ask if he or she has credentials and experience with these situations. Of course, you also want to ask about the payment structure and make sure that suits your needs as well. In the end, a good trainer should be extremely transparent so that the client-trainer relationship works for everyone. I promise it's not as scary as it sounds once you ask the right questions. Realize, too, that you don't need a personal trainer forever. Now, it's a great tool to have, but if you just want some instruction from time to time, personal trainers can assist with that too. With or without a trainer, you need to develop an exercise program. The most important thing to keep in mind is that every program should be individualized. Everyone's goals are different, and that is extremely important to consider. A person new to exercise will have a different plan than an elite collegiate athlete, a weekend warrior, or a powerlifter. And as research into the science and application of sports science grows, new insights will emerge. So let's start by looking at the American College of Sports Medicine, ACSM, guidelines, which take into account the recommendations of experts from across many disciplines, like exercise science, physiology, athletic training, and medicine. ACSM recommends lifting weights a minimum of 2 to 3 days per week if you use a full body workout. But if you really enjoy strength training, you can easily spread it out over 4 or more days per week and change up the order of the muscle groups you exercise each time. We'll talk more about this in just a minute, but for now, just know that training each major muscle group twice per week is sufficient. To begin, ask yourself what fits into your schedule now. If it is only 1 day per week, great, then do it 1 day per week. Over time, you can add more days, time, and intensity to your training once you get the hang of it all. It is recommended to start with 1 to 3 sets of exercises that target each major muscle group. Aim for 8 to 12 repetitions. And just think about your back and your chest and your glutes, shoulders, and your arms and legs, for example. Oftentimes, beginning with machines instead of using free weights is your best bet because they help to reinforce proper alignment and form and may be safer until you feel more comfortable with the process. As you begin to get more comfortable and advanced with your program, and your goals become even more specific, your goals can get better and more defined, and you'll want to develop a specific plan tailored to help you meet those goals. For example, when designing a plan to build muscle mass or improve muscle quality, there are a few things to think about and included that are unique to these plans. Muscular strength is a measure of how much force your muscles can produce in one effort. To improve strength, you want to do 5 to 8 repetitions at a weight that progresses up to 80% of your maximal strength for 1 repetition, or 1 RM. Think higher weight, low to moderate reps for 3 sets. For example, if you can lift 100 pounds, or 46 kilograms, on the bench press, then you would start with about 65 to 70 pounds, or 29 to 31 kilograms, and work up to using around 80 pounds, or 36 kilograms, for 5 to 8 repetitions. You would repeat this 2 more times before switching exercises. The second type of muscular training is muscular endurance, which ultimately leads to hypertrophy, or the increase in muscle fiber size. For muscular endurance and hypertrophy, you would use a lower weight, roughly 65 to 85% of your 1 RM, and 8 to 12 repetitions for 1 to 3 sets. Again, if you can do a 1 RM bench press of 100 pounds or 46 kilograms, you would use 65 pounds or 29 kilograms and do more repetitions up towards 12 or more to improve muscular endurance and optimize muscle growth. The third type of muscular training is called muscular power, which is the amount of work performed per unit of time. This is a quick movement. There are two strategies. The most traditional is to aim for a heavy load, typically over 90% of your 1RM, and with only 1 to 4 repetitions. Again, using our example of 1RM bench press of 100 pounds or 46 kilograms, you would lift 90 to 95 pounds or 41 to 43 kilograms for just 1 to 2 reps. You would likely take long breaks between sets with this style of lifting. Alternatively, because muscular power is based on how fast the movement can be completed, you can also use a light load. It could even be your body weight, or a load that is somewhere around 50% of 1RM, and then perform the movement fast. Of course, the style you choose is based on your goals, and working with a coach is highly recommended given the technical aspects of doing this safely. The main idea is to move the load as fast as possible. So, you can see that in order to increase your muscle mass, you're going to have to put in the effort when you're at the gym. If you like to lift and do aerobics exercise too, then great. And don't worry too much about whether you do cardio or resistance training first when you work out. It's based on personal preference. Let's assume you want to lift weights. You might think you should do a total body routine or split the body segments up into working your legs one day and your upper body on a second day. But many other variations exist, like chest and triceps on one day, and then back, biceps, and shoulders on day 2, and legs on day 3. It can be confusing without proper guidance. Well, to settle this argument, researchers recruited 20 resistance-trained young men and had them perform 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions for a total of 18 sets per session for 8 weeks. They used either a 1 day per week split body routine, where multiple exercises were done for 2 to 3 muscle groups per session, or a 3 day per week total body routine, where 1 exercise was performed per muscle group per session, with all muscle groups trained. The researchers tested the upper and lower body strength and muscle size. After 8 weeks, there were absolutely no differences except for greater increases in the size of the forearm flexors in the total body routine compared to the split body routine. So my suggestion is that you select a resistance training program that you like and you can stick to. One that you think is fun and keeps you engaged. The chances of you continuing this sort of program are probably far greater than if you follow some plan that you don't think is fun. So there are also other techniques that are now becoming common that are designed to help optimize muscle protein synthesis and muscle growth. If you're working with a trainer, you can discuss whether any of these would work well for you. One in particular is called blood flow restriction, or occlusion training. So what is it? Essentially, you perform low-intensity resistance training. And by low intensity, I mean really low. Only about 20% of your 1 repetition maximum. You do this while also occluding blood flow with a tourniquet or tight wrap. Does this sound more like a torture device than an exercise routine? Well, what's interesting about this type of training is that it does have many proposed benefits. And these range from improved endurance training during aerobic exercise, such as walking, to increased muscle protein synthesis through one of the main growth-promoting signaling proteins called mTOR, to the recruitment of more muscle fibers during exercise. Some research has even shown occlusion training to increase growth hormone, which may influence many beneficial physiological outcomes. Supporters of occlusion training say it can produce the same responses if you were to lift heavy weights due to the buildup of some specific metabolites like adenosine monophosphate, inorganic phosphate, and lactate, as well as the depletion of phosphocreatine and a decrease in muscle pH, meaning increased acidity or muscle burn. Is it any better than doing traditional training, though? Well, the short answer is not really. It can be added as a supplement, but it shouldn't replace your normal training program. In my opinion, you might use it when you are injured and can't lift the same weight as usual. This way, you can still use light weight and get a pretty good muscular adaptation. So now you know how to maintain and/or increase muscle mass and a few ways to do it for the young and old and for women and men. There are a ton of exercises and routines that you can perform to achieve an increase in muscle mass. You just have to find what works best for you. It has to be fun, motivating, challenging, and safe. If your exercises are fun, you'll be far more likely to stick to the program. Evidence also shows that you'll be more likely to choose healthy eating habits when you enjoy your workout. So now you have all this information about lifting weights, and I hope that you're convinced that you must add this to your workout plan. The key to finding what works best for you is to continue to explore new types of exercises and training styles. Keep in mind that for real changes to occur, you're going to have to sweat, and that means pushing yourself and putting in hard work. It also means you're going to have to pay attention to what you eat and how you fuel yourself to feel better, look better, and perform better. What this will do is change your body composition by helping you lose fat mass and increase muscle mass. This is the 1-2 punch combination that will lead to the most optimal improvements in your body composition. Again, we need to shift to a mindset of body composition, not body weight. Try this. See if you can find a great personal trainer and start lifting weights at least one time per week.